like when I got with Reggie Wooten, and ultimately I realized what I wanted to do was what Joe Pass was doing, which is chord melody.
Yeah.
I wanted to play a note, but put a chord on each note. And so he was like, well, in chord melody, the root's on the top, not on the bottom. I was like, okay. He just pulled a rug right out from under me. So now I have to think totally upside down. But then when I started to get that, then I realized all the options for chord voicings underneath that. And I ended up finding a stuff which to me sounds like... has that Holsworth kind of sound. Yeah. And so when I started exploring from the top down instead of the bottom up.
So what are you putting on the top then? You're putting the root note on the top?
Yeah.
Root on the top.
So if I'm in E, or so let's start from, it'll be from the 5, like E Dorian.
Yeah.
So one of them I do is, kind of has a more Corey Tyner sound. There's a lot of fourths in it.
Yeah.
But then I found some of these like.
So you moving down through the Dorian there?
Yeah, every note is in the Dorian scale. It's just on the bottom there's a major or minor second. On the top there's a major or minor 6.
So you just move into the next.
So you just have to mathematically, like I draw the dots out to figure. Yeah. I found this one. Yeah. And I was like, there's got to be a way to chord melody that all the way up and down. In this scale, or if it's G, you could do it major, minor, dominant, right?
Well, I was going to say, so when you did Dorian, did you also work out the major?
They turn out to be the same.
Oh, because
they just start in a different.
Different.
It's crazy.
Which is so that means like as long as you can make the mental shift, once you've learned those patterns moving down, the fourths and then the more cluster shapes, you actually know the shapes already. But you've just got to...
Yeah, and see the shape, and I don't have to learn a different fingering or shape for another key. So, come on. Like, you can do it by the shape on this. And I'm visually oriented anyway like that. So that's what I was talking about in the earlier interview. Like, what are your strengths? Like, try to capitalize on that. Like, so I just go, okay, you can't read music anymore. And the more I try, I just get bored with it. I'm like... Yeah. And so, but I don't recommend that for anyone else. Be literate.
It was like personal to you. It was like,
I didn't use it in the gigs that I was doing, But when I just said, okay, that's that, go down this path, then I found all this stuff.
I had the same conversation with Gary Willis a few weeks ago. He was like, the reading thing was just like, no, it was just
no way.
He reads a little bit, but he's just like, he said there was like a line. He was like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to use notation on gigs.
You could be extremely literate without being. And then sometimes, I don't know. I wish I could. I wish I was literate. But I still like the search for. If you could just be a little bit curious, you'll find so many voicings. Like for instance, when you're doing this pattern, there's only 3 or 4 shapes. So let's call that shape 1. 2, same as 2. That's 3. That's 1 again. Yeah, so I think it's only 3, right? Yeah. So what I would change to the other shapes, but with the same top note.
Yeah.
So let's go to shape 2. Yeah, and I was like, that's a beautiful major.
Yeah.
Now I have a sus, if I change the bass note, right? Or now let's go to shape 3.
Yeah. That's a nice one.
And I found on every note, they're all beautiful.
Woo! Moving the voices
That's
around.
sharp 9. With what is that? With a sharp 5, sharp 9. I don't analyze them. Like, I don't even care, a lot of times.
I was going to say, sometimes are you
weird.
moving the voicings around and just lugging it? You kind of know. You've done it
there's
so
certain...
much.
Yeah, exactly, because you're like... You see shapes reoccur, and like if I've done something to one shape, and I go, I wonder if I can do that over here too, like with this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I wonder, does that work here? Same shape.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Especially when you think about, I'm in these situations where there's like a 1-chord jam.
Yeah.
For 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to come up with some stuff.
Yeah, or even like for my solo, right?
Yeah.
So now I have I can write a whole new song.
Yeah.
And it's all related to the key that I'm in. I can always relate it back because there's at least that top note that's in the same key. And there's probably some other ones in there too.
And then you're just moving the inner voicings around.
So I just freely, I just try stuff. I'm literally at random trying stuff.
Do you do this when you're soloing as well? And
absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.